Hello, vets. Thank y'all again for tuning in for another episode of MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Resources. So this is a podcast where we focus on those veteran organizations and veteran businesses here in the state that you're locally at. So wherever you may be, we're gonna come to your state, find those resources, and connect those local veterans with their resources. Today we are in the upstate. So we're here in Greenville, South Carolina with Miss Leslie Bouvier. And so she is the founder of Miss Liberty Bell and also Miss Liberty Bell's Closet, correct?
That's right.
All right, so we're gonna find out more about what she does, who she is. So let's get right into it. So Leslie,
All right.
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about you. So I know you didn't serve in the military, right?
No, I did not.
But you have a passion for those veterans that have served.
I do.
All right, so tell us about who you are. Who is
So
Leslie?
I am a Greenville, South Carolina native. I was born and raised in the area. I have most of my family that served in the military, various ADAs, various branches, various wars. And my stepson, he is a Marine, and he is stationed in Okinawa right now. So I'm very passionate about it. Actually, what triggered me to do a lot of what I do is just the fact that I was raised to respect and honor our military. They sacrifice their time. You sacrifice time, and time is the most valuable commodity that we have. So you sacrifice your time and your family just to serve. So what a better way for me to give back than to serve.
Absolutely. And that's one of the great things that I tell a lot of our veterans, even for those that haven't served, just to say thank you for your service. Because no matter whether it was you that served or a family member that served, you're still connected in some way.
Right.
So even with me being gone with the military, then my family still had to go through
That's
it with
right.
me. So no matter where I was at, they still had to worry. They still was part of that sacrifice that I committed to. So thank you for your service.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
So I appreciate everything that you're doing for the veteran community. I appreciate your passion. Just how did you get started?
It's a very interesting story. So I have always had a love for the 40s. And I believe some of our greatest heroes and greatest stories come from the World War II era. So I love the music. I love the dress. I kind of focused and obsessed on World War II. So,
And this is Miss Liberty Bell we're
Miss
talking
Liberty
about,
Bell.
right? Okay.
So Miss Liberty Bell came from, truthfully, just an event for World War II veterans. So I ran into somebody. I love doing pinup, the 40s pinup with the victory rolls and the red lipstick. So I love doing pinup. So I ran into somebody who knew that I could sing. And they asked me if I could sing for an event that was raising funds to help World War II veterans go on an honor flight.
Nice.
So doing the pinup and doing the singing, I didn't want to jump up on stage as Leslie Bouvier. It just didn't match. It just didn't go with anything. So I started scrolling through some nose art because nose art was huge in World War II. And it was just a great symbol of hope and morale. And I ran across the only blonde that I found, and it was Liberty Bell. It was the Liberty Bell B-17.
Yes.
And so I was like, all right, I can do that. So I became Miss Liberty Bell and started really just singing for veteran organizations, Legion Post, VFWs, the Marine Corps League, and those types of things. I just started going to all their events. They just asked me to come sing for them. So that's how I got started. It was just pretty basic.
And how long ago has that been? And before you get that, like when you say pinup, so the first thing I think about when you say pinup, I'm thinking about Playboy. So I don't know. How, yo?
It's a little different.
So tell us about pinup. So what's going on with this pinup?
So pinups literally were a picture of it could have been a girlfriend, a wife, could have been Playboy, it could have been anything.
Okay.
But a pinup was, truthfully, in wartime, is a symbol of hope. It is somebody that they looked forward to going home to. This is who I'm fighting for. I'm going to bust my tail to make sure that I get home for this girl. And so pinup to me, and why I came up with Miss Liberty Bell, was because it's a symbol of hope.
And what year did it start?
2016.
All right, so 2016.
2016.
He was like, hey, you know what? I'm singing. I like the pinup. I'm going to go ahead and jump into it because I like the 40s era. And then next thing you know, you just started getting all these invitations of everybody that's coming about this talk. Now, was this a nonprofit as well?
It's always been a nonprofit. It was always volunteer. There was never a point where I wanted to make any kind of money off of it. Even though I can sing and people are like, oh, you should, get a booking fee. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get a booking fee. I'm just going to volunteer. And if I make any money off of it, I'm going to turn around and donate it to whatever veteran service organization that is there. So I would sing for a car show, but there would be a Legion post there. So I would turn around and hand over whatever tips I got to that Legion post. So one of the things that developed from that was a lot of the organizations figured out that I had volunteered and had event planning and fundraising experience. So that's where the progression began. So I went from just singing and making appearances to hosting networking events and fundraisers for other veteran-related nonprofits. One of those was the Fisher House Foundation in Columbia.
Yes.
They wanted to build a Fisher House in Columbia, which for those of you who don't know, it's the closest thing to it is the Ronald McDonald House for Veterans. You can't utilize it in Columbia. You have to live outside of the service area. So that was my first one. The second one, and I think you've actually had conversations with these folks, Veteran Last Patrol.
Yes.
So I started doing fundraisers for Veteran Last Patrol, which they do honor ceremonies and provide emergency assistance for veterans in hospice.
Yes.
So this is my third year planning their car show and honor ride. And then we're actually doing a spring dinner this April. So I started doing fundraisers. So it went from just doing appearances to planning and co-hosting fundraisers and events. And then really contributing to the other veteran service organizations and their mission. Whatever I could do to help grow their mission, that's what I wanted to do.
That truly talks about your heart and your commitment, because now that you are partnering with these other organizations, so as a nonprofit, as a fundraiser, I guess, ambassador, I guess I would say, for all these other nonprofit organizations, you don't charge them anything.
No, I don't.
So you do this all as volunteer work to help them to grow their organization and what they're doing to consistently help the veterans.
That's correct. I do not ask for a booking fee. I don't ask for a planning fee. If they choose, and this has to be their choice, their board has to make a choice and plan if they want to make a donation back to my charity to help me continue doing these events, that's fine. But I don't ask for it. I don't sign into a contract saying you owe me X amount of dollars or X percent. It is 100% volunteer. And then what I do in turn is not only do I volunteer my time and services to plan an event from start to finish, not just little pieces here and there of the whole event. I look for sponsors to help cover the cost. So the funds that are raised for the event go straight to the organization. So sponsors, co-hosts, other things like that I can find, I try to do my best to find them so everything goes straight to the organization.
Who wouldn't love to have you as part of their organization to consistently help, especially at no fee in the work that you do? Because I know that's time consuming.
It is. It takes a lot of time.
Work.
Each event takes a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks to plan. And I already have a little over 12 events planned for this year. So these are things that have been in the works from September, October of last year that we're planning for 2022.
So how do you find the time between that and what you do as far as your professional work?
I manage my time very well.
Definitely you manage your time well.
I do work a full-time job, and I have a family at home. I have 4 teenagers. One of them is the Marine. He's not at home, but what can I say? We spend a lot of time on FaceTime with him, so he might as well be at home. But time management, really, I actually this year have acquired some really awesome volunteers who help me with organization, help me keep my brain on track, because I went from doing maybe 1 or 2 events a year to now I'm up to 12, 13 events for the year.
Wow.
So, and I'm not done yet. I know there's a lot developing, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to tell you about all the events that are already on the books.
You always got something going on.
So, but the cool thing is I progressed from doing fundraising to actually helping specifically on the employment piece.
Okay.
So,
So now that you have got Miss Liberty Bell established, how did you transition over to Miss Liberty Bell's Closet?
So Miss Liberty Bell's Closet came about because I was taking donations for the Greenville County Veteran Affairs Office. They do every fall, they do an event called Stuff the Duffel. Stuff the Duffel is toiletries, underwear, socks, and those types of things. And so that came about, but I don't know how or why, but I started receiving a lot of phone calls for clothing donations. And so I started acquiring massive amounts of clothing. On top of that, my day job, I'm a recruiter. And so what led into Miss Liberty Bell's Closet is I started noticing as a recruiter, there's a lot of veteran resumes and applications that get denied because civilians don't know how to translate their skills into the job that they're applying for. So we have
even for our veterans, we don't know how to transition
Right.
those skills into civilian terms. So.
Correct. So I saw it happening, and then I was getting all these clothing donations, and I'm like, okay, there's something here that I can do. There's got to be something. So last January, I developed Miss Liberty Bell's Closet. It just came about. And so what that consists of is a veteran who is progressing. I like transitioning. Transitioning is great, but progressing means they're growing. There's growth.
I love it.
I like to say a veteran that's progressing. They're moving forward in their life to civilian life. And so a veteran that is progressing can come to Miss Liberty Bell's Closet, and we provide interview coaching and resume coaching. So we take a look at that resume, we try to tailor it for a civilian job, and then if they want to come in for practice, we'll sit down and practice interviewing with them. I'm skilled in HR and skilled in interviewing, so we'll just set up a time and we'll just go through all the basic questions and make sure that they don't get hung up on anything. On top of that, there's a lot of other needs that need to be met from that job need, an interview need. So I do have a closet. That's where Miss Liberty Bell's Closet came from. The closet provides clothing for men and women that need professional and business casual clothing, and it's offered to them at no cost. They can just come in, pick out what they need, and that's theirs. They can have it for that interview.
Excellent.
So on another venue or avenue for that, let's get those veterans ready for their big interview, is I've made a super amazing network of folks that are in the cosmetology and hair industry. So I can send just about anyone for a haircut, a shave, whatever they need, just to get prepped for their interview. And then there's also residual discounts that lie for being a veteran. And this not just goes for the veteran, but the veteran spouse. Veteran spouses have a hard time finding jobs now too, because they have a lot of job hopping on their resume just because their spouse
is following their spouse.
They're following their spouse around. So this is for the veteran and their spouse. And then last but not least, once a month, I provide an opportunity for veterans and their spouses to come in for professional headshots. If you are looking for a civilian job, you need to make sure that you do not have a headshot on your social media, your business cards, or whatever that you have, or the industry that you're going into that's reviewing your uniform. You need civilian attire, and you need a civilian headshot. And so we provide headshots at no cost. That's a savings of like $350.
Oh yeah, it is.
So that's where Miss Liberty Bell's Closet came from. So all in all, you have Miss Liberty Bell who will go out and sing for veteran organizations, honor ceremonies with Veterans Last Patrol, and then fundraisers for other veteran service organizations. And then we have the employment piece where we do the coaching and help that progression from military to civilian life.
Man, it sounds like a one-stop shop for any military personnel that's transitioned out the military that's looking for employment.
Right.
So now you can come here to Miss Liberty Bell's Closet. So not only am I getting resume assistance, but let's start off with, hey, I'm getting a haircut. I'm getting clothes. If I'm a female, I'm getting that makeup done or whatever it may be. So now I got clothes for that. Now I'm getting prepped for my interview. So now that I'm prepped for my interview and I got my resume right, now how do you get me in front of the job? How do you get me in front of these people that are looking to help it?
I spent a lot of years in the financial services industry, and during that time, I spent a lot of years reaching out to employers. So not only that, I was born and raised in Greenville, so I have a lot of contacts. I think networking is crucial to survival.
And it sounds like you got a lot of them.
So if I don't have the contact, here's a really awesome thing is it's not just me. I work with Upstate Warrior Solution, Veteran One, Recon, Veteran Ascend, all of these other organizations that are out there, the Upstate Coalition, Upstate Veteran Alliance, Vet Center, all of these other organizations out there, I work with them. So if there's a need that I can't meet, I'm going to find somebody who can meet that need. So partnership is extremely important, making sure that I'm connecting these veterans because I don't want to drop the ball. I don't want to miss something. So if there's something that I can't do, I'm going to find the you in the organization, in the group of organizations that are out there, and connect them with that person.
Yeah, and that's what we struggled with for so long, because there's so many different organizations out there, but nobody recognizes anybody else, and nobody even knows that another organization may exist. So if I provide a service, and if it's not what that veteran is needing, then who do I contact? Right. So it's great that you're doing that. So your networking and all these partnerships and the collaborations that you have are key to growing what the veteran is needing when they're progressing. As they're progressing out of their service into civilian life.
Right.
So that is amazing. So I love it. So with all of that that's going on, so with the employment opportunity, with the job experience, and you're giving them all of these tools that they need to go out here and find these jobs, what other opportunities do you provide through your organization as well?
Well, I have a lot of events coming up. So do you mind if I take a minute and tell you about some of these events that I have coming up?
Please let me know.
I am so excited. I am really excited because I'm actually partnering with the South Carolina Department of Veteran Affairs.
Okay.
On March the 12th, we're going to host our very first Warrior Women's Workshop.
Oh, that's big.
It is. I'm really excited. This is targeting our women veterans. We want to make sure that we give them the tools that they need to succeed and not get hung up on roadblocks and stuck. So our Warrior Women's Workshop, the very first one, is going to be on March the 12th. It's going to be at Venture X downtown. And we're going to focus on financial stability, employability, and health. We're going to have a full day of workshops where they can learn about all the things that will affect their finances and how to make that stable, and how to make sure that they find, and keep stable employment. And then we'll have vendors available to help them with any health needs that they may have.
And this is all for women.
All for women veterans.
So this is the big part about it, because, you know, with our women veteran, it seems as though they've been overlooked in so many areas as far as like in the military, you know, and then getting out of the military. And then just looking at it, because it seems as though if anybody thinks about the military, they think about a man. You know, so now to hear that somebody is focusing on the women, and then just doing things for them to be successful, even through their progression of coming out of the military, is huge. So that's big.
I'm really excited. So that is our first one that we're having March the 12th at Venture X. We will be actually utilizing the same space where Veteran One has their corporate office. So that's going to be great. We're going to have a swell lineup of instructors and teachers to really just give them the tools that they need. March 26th, we're going to be in Columbia. We're going to be at the meeting place in Columbia. That one may be subject to change just due to COVID protocol. But as of right now, it's at March 26th at the meeting place. May 28th, we're going to be at Horry County Tech. We're going to visit our Low Country ladies. We still have a PD in the works, so we're going to make sure that we hit Upstate Midlands, Low Country, and PD for our women veterans.
Traveling going on there.
Yes, and we actually will have probably an additional 4 more in all of the regions later on this year. So our goal with the South Carolina Department of Veteran Affairs is to make sure that we are available and offering our women veterans all the tools that they need to succeed. So
excellent. That's
my big one. I'm super excited about that one. That's going to be an ongoing thing. You'll be able to find out all this information at misslibertybell.org.
Okay.
misslibertybell.org/events, actually, specifically. So that's the big one. But in addition to that, there's several other events that I have going on that are just kind of out there with some of these other veteran service organizations. So one of the most frequent ones that we have is an event called Bravo Charlie Victor. We call it Bravo Charlie Victor. It stands for Bourbon Cigar and Veterans.
One of my favorites.
One of your favorites. Every other month, myself and Greenville County Veteran Affairs, we put on this event. Our next one is this Thursday, January the 27th, from 6 to 10 at Boda Pipes and Cigars. We'll have the next one obviously in March because we do it every other month. But it's just an opportunity for us to bring some camaraderie to the area.
Of course.
And some networking is there too, but it's just a chance to hang out with some like-minded individuals.
Okay.
The next event that I have up is our Vietnam Veterans event. So myself and Greenville County Veteran Affairs decided this is the year that we are going to put on a welcome home party for our Vietnam veterans. Our Vietnam veterans never got a welcome home. So this is our opportunity to do so. So March 29th from 6 to 9 at the Runway Cafe, we're going to have that party. We're going to have
is this the first one ever?
It is the
first
first
one
one
the first one in South Carolina, or has it been done anywhere else?
I don't know if it's been done anywhere else, to be honest.
This is going to be the first time that we did it in South Carolina. That's huge.
So it's the first one in South Carolina, and it is open to all Vietnam veterans and their family at no cost. We have a tremendous sponsor. Windstream has sponsored this event for us.
Okay.
And they'll be there, but we'll have food, we'll have desserts. We have a Vietnam era a band that's playing music that night.
Will Miss Liberty Bell be there?
I'll be there. Actually in the 70s. I'll be 70s. So if anybody wants to look up Raquel Welch, I'm going to go for that day.
Okay.
Bob Hope and Raquel Welch. So that is our plan for March the 29th. And I do believe that you have spent some time with one of my partners, Veteran Last Patrol. Mm-hmm. Veteran Last Patrol performs honor ceremonies for vets in hospice. We have a sit-down dinner on April 21st at the Cannon Center. And so that is on the books, as well as our 3rd annual honor ride and car show for vets in hospice. And that's going to be on October the 8th. Additionally, I have one more. I'm still waiting for the ticket link to be open for it, but the South Carolina National Guard is celebrating 75 years of aviation in the South Carolina National Guard this year.
Wow.
So in Columbia, we'll be having a fundraiser for 3 different heritage foundations for celebrating 75 years of aviation in the South Carolina National Guard. So a lot of fun stuff on the books.
You got a lot going on. So even with everything that you have going on, so you do accept volunteers.
I do.
And you're doing a lot of work on your own. Mm-hmm. So how can any of those, now does it have to be a veteran that volunteers, or can it just be anybody?
No, I have a lot of civilians that volunteer.
Okay.
I have several girls that do the pinup with me because pinup is a symbol of hope. So we want to make sure that we are spreading hope everywhere we go.
So it's more Playboy girls. I mean, pinup girls.
Pinup girls. So we have girls that do pinup, strictly pinup. We have people that help me with event planning. Mm-hmm. Putting on an event from start to finish is a big task. Okay. I've done it for years on my own, but the bigger the events I get, the more people that I need to help me to do recon. I need people to find people that are willing to donate, people that are willing to help. And then we have volunteers. I just recently had a volunteer start with me last week on the employment piece. They specifically focus on resume coaching and job placement. So so there is a ton of opportunity for volunteers. And for events, I need people that want to set up and tear down. So if you're a behind the scenes kind of person, I need that. So that's really huge. Truthfully, I literally can plug someone anywhere. Anyone that has the heart and passion to serve our veterans who sacrificed so much for us, I will put them anywhere they want to work.
And they can find that through your website.
Yes, MissLibertyBell.org.
Okay, excellent. So I appreciate all that information that you've given. So it sounds like you got a lot going on. So if you're in the upstate, it sounds like this is a great person to connect with. She's been giving so much to the community, and she's willing to accept that volunteer help and assistance if you're willing to give it. But also, before we go, so tell me, is there anything else that you would love to tell the veteran community out there? What would you like to leave them with?
Well, ultimately, thank you. I think that gets left unsaid a lot. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your family's service and sacrifice. And if there's anything that I can do or anyone that I can connect you with, find me. MissLibertyBell.org, Leslie at MissLibertyBell.org. Excuse me, Leslie at MissLibertyBell.org. Let's get this right. I'm saying a lot of .orgs. You can come to my office. I just opened an office in Pelzer at 120 Levy Street.
Okay.
So come see me, visit my website, send me an email. Just get plugged in. Even if you just want somebody to listen, I'm here. Don't hesitate to pick up the phone or send an email. Don't let a moment pass where you feel like you're alone at all. So there's people like me out there, and we want to be there for you and help you. Hell, we just want to be your friend and have drinks with you. So hang out, all of that. So doesn't have to be complicated.
All right. Well, thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that and everything that you're doing. So veterans, if y'all are here in the upstates, so if y'all are looking for a place to come, Miss Liberty Bell's Closet, she can assist you with the employment opportunity and also just preparing you for that employment opportunity. But also the pinup, she does a great thing there to help these other organizations that's trying to help these veterans as well. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of MWR. And again, help us connect the veteran with a veteran.